Hey, everybody. I just want to, before we get started, I want to thank my friends over at Polar Bear Plumbing, Heating, and Air. My husband, he loves me because one day I am on fire hot.
I'm on fire!
Okay. It's all right, you're not on fire!
I knew it, you're lying! I'm fire!
There is no fire!
And so I turn the AC on, and then the next day, it's a little chilly out.
I am freezing. Why is it getting so cold?
It's rainy. Then I turn the furnace on and I go back and forth. And this actually happens all year long. Call it menopause. I don't know what is going on with my body, but I know that I like to be comfortable temperature wise. That's why I have on speed dial my friends at Polar Bear Plumbing, Heating, and Air. They're the triple threat. Family owned and operated, locally owned and operated, veteran owned and operated. Right now, they have got a great special going on. It's their spring tune-up sale where they will come in, they will change filters, they will check all the sensors, they will make sure your air conditioning unit is running like a top. Because you may be thinking, well, yeah, it turns on and it didn't work as well. It doesn't work as well as it did when we originally put it in, but that's just normal wear and tear. What if I told you odds are you're spending more money with an old unit because you're running it so hard? So if you want something brand new, they've got great incentives, great deals going on for a new AC unit, or again, that $99 spring tune-up special. This is awesome. They'll come in and they'll make sure everything is running like a top, so you're not spending extra money. And also you're elongating the life of your air conditioning unit. Call my friends, or better yet, go online and see all the different things they have to offer. PolarBearPHA.com, PolarBearPHA.com. Polar Bear Plumbing, Heating, and Air is a proud sponsor of the Sadie and Friends podcast.
I'm going to say the thing you're not supposed to say.
Let's talk about marriage.
They have like a 2-second rebound rate and you're back doing the next pain in the ass thing.
Parenting. Oh my gosh.
They have sucked the pretty right out of me. They treat me like it, and I do their laundry. Lucky me.
Sex.
I'm caught between two evils. I generally like to take the one I never tried.
Scary stuff like ghosts. I know it's totally out of left field, but just go with me on this.
Boo, you whore.
Love.
I give you what you need. That's all. I'm talking about taking care of each other the best you can. What's wrong with taking care of a woman? She takes care of you.
Friendships.
Wink and her necklace says best friends forever.
You sure you want it to say forever? I don't think you guys will be best friends forever, no offense, but sometimes you grow apart. And maybe she'll find a new best friend. They end up doing everything together.
This is why I have no friends. Because I think that is very interesting, and it shows that you and Macaulay Culkin have something in common. You know what? You kind of do look like Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone. Yeah, so we were just talking before we started recording about Macaulay Culkin, and I kind of saw something about this story. Oh my God, I almost didn't turn your pod up. I almost didn't do it.
That would have been a bad one.
Anyway, we were just talking off the air about Macaulay Culkin, and I heard a little bit about this story that came out that he has like a ton of siblings. And
he's one of 7.
Okay, so he's one of 7 kids, and he doesn't know any of his. I had read something where some of the kids have had children of their own.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And he hasn't met like most of them.
So Macaulay Culkin's dad is what you're saying.
Oh, so it was Macaulay Culkin's dad?
Yeah. So Macaulay Culkin's dad. So for those who, have not heard of him, Home Alone kid, of course, right? Forever ago. And his brother just won an Oscar, right? For what do they win?
His name is Kieran Culkin. And I don't know what movie he won, but he was on the show Succession.
With Jesse Eisenberg in the movie.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not a big Jesse Eisenberg fan.
Okay, fair enough. But anyway, so Macaulay Culkin, all-time famous actor, right?
Right.
His brother, who was also, he was in Home Alone too. He was the glasses kid.
He was the little brother, yeah.
And now he's an Oscar winner.
Which is cool.
Yeah. So anyways, the story was Macaulay Culkin was getting interviewed, which is hard to say, by the way. Macaulay Culkin.
It is hard.
He was getting interviewed and they were talking about his dad. And they were like, how long has it been since you talked to your dad? He's like, probably 30 years. And he goes, I'm one of 7. And we all, but so he has 7 kids and 4 grandkids, and not one will speak to him. Not one.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that makes more sense than how I had it wrapped in my mind, where it's like Macaulay Culkin's dad has
You can't say it either, can you?
I can't say it. Has
Macaulay
a bunch of
Culkin.
kids, and hasn't even met the kids' grandkids yet. I mean, I was like, this is too much for me to handle. So
No.
thank you for explaining it to me like a second grader.
Sure. Now say Macaulay Culkin 3 times fast.
Macaulay Culkin, Macaulay Culkin, Macaulay Culkin.
Okay, you did it. Good
I
job.
did it. But why I was interested in this is that we're going to get a little bit in depth here with Mr. Ryan,
Bring it.
because you also come from a lot of siblings. Some
7.
you don't even know.
Correct. I'm one of 7 technically, but one of 4. I grew up with 4 kids. We're just 4 kids. But my dad, he went and was having kids other places.
So you have to explain the birth order, because you were doing it in the car the other day. And I was like, wait, what? Because explain the birth order of all your secret siblings.
All right. So I'm one of 4. My siblings were 4. There's 4 of us, and I'm the oldest. Oldest to youngest, there's 6 years. Okay.
Okay.
There is a kid before me, in between me and my sister, and between my sister and my other sister. So with different people.
And your mom just went back?
The first one, I don't know if he even knows. Like, it's like a family, no one knows. Like, he signed away rights when he was like a teenager. The one after me and in between my sister, I think my mom left. And then they got back together. Who knows? You don't want to bring it up.
No, I do want to hear. I mean, I think you should tell your story.
No. I'm saying, like, I don't know all the details.
Oh, sure.
Because I'm not like
he seduced her one night under full moon. I mean, of course. Yeah.
Sure. I know. Yeah. Which are awesome details to know about anything. But so there's one before me, one after me between my other sister, who's like 3 years younger than me. And then between my other sisters, who are a year apart, there's another one. And all of these kids, the secret kids, are in different areas, different people, the whole thing.
So they're different women.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's 7. So there's the core 4, which is what you know of, you, your
Ryan,
brother,
Amanda,
and your
Katie,
sisters.
Yep.
And then there's 3 more on top of it, kind of in between the core 4. And how many of them have you met?
I've met one, the middle one.
Was it weird? I don't think I've ever asked you. So I'm not trying to, pretend like I don't know. What was that like meeting how did that happen?
It was, in Missouri.
Yeah.
And in Missouri on the, where God bless St. Joe.
Where people have multiple
St. Joe,
babies.
Missouri.
Yeah. I mean, nothing against Missouri.
It's just different.
Yeah.
Right. Like where they're from. It's just normal, I guess. So it wasn't like too weird, like after all, we still realize I come from like on that side of the family. I think overall I have like 40 cousins, and on that side, there's probably 25 or 30. So it's just, everyone's just blending together at some point.
But okay, you got off track here a little bit.
Yeah.
How did it come about that you met secret sibling number 1?
It was just told like, hey, that's.
So you never
Byron.
met the person?
No, I met them. Byron. Yeah.
His name's Byron?
Byron and Ryan. I don't know.
Byron and Ryan?
Yeah.
Do you guys look alike? Why haven't I looked this person up on social? Really?
He's very much a, do you know when people do hard living?
I sure do.
Right. And you can tell that it just kind of age just gets to them earlier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what it kind of feels like, is age just got to this kid earlier, and not like I feel bad because get this, I learned this talking to my mom last time, that Byron didn't know his dad, who he thought was his dad, was not his dad until he was 16. He was told that's not his dad, and that my dad is actually his dad.
At least he got 16 years where he
didn't have to
know
put up with
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
isn't that crazy? And then I guess there's another one in Texas.
Well, wait, how old were you when you met Byron?
7? No. 18, 19.
So were you still in touch with your father? And to give a little bit of backstory on Ryan here, super abusive dad, just drugs, just not like you are such a different person than him that it's,
but you've never even met him.
No, I have. I've met him.
You saw him. You have never met him.
No, I met him at a funeral once. He came and said hi. Yes, sir.
He came and said hi to you?
Yes.
And he knew to keep his distance
And
from me,
he
though.
messaged me right before we got married. And he said, because he was, I hope I'm not speaking out of turn.
What?
He was abusive to your mom, like physically. And so,
and the kids.
And you guys, but he reached out to me right before we got married. And he sent me a Facebook message and he just said, you're marrying a really nice guy. And I responded with, and I think I said, thanks to his mom. I know. Oh, yeah. Thanks
good.
to his mom.
Yeah.
Like
rightly so. Yeah.
Why you turned out to be a nice guy is definitely not because of him. And then he never responded back. But sure. I saw him later at a funeral, a family gathering, and it was so awkward.
He came up and said hi to you?
Yeah, he said hi.
I didn't know that. Where was I? Was I out just because because I've been at all these funerals, I've been like, I don't know, giving speeches and awful shit.
Does it feel weird knowing that you don't have anything to do with your dad anymore?
No, it didn't feel weird. I mean,
because I know it affects you.
Oh yeah, it impacts me, but it doesn't feel weird. Like, I don't know. There's just some things you like. Well, my mom was just out here for spring break and we drove to the mountains and I was just talking to her about some stuff that happened and, hey, what happened in this? What happened during this time? You know, and I don't know how much she wants to talk about it. Like, cause it was some bad shit. So I don't know how much she's like, oh yeah, this happened when we were here and this happened when we were there. You know,
well, I mean, to talk about how incredibly abusive this situation was, I want to, and I'll say this and let you can be like, oh, maybe take that out. But your mom was saying that your sister, she didn't want
Which one?
Katie.
Okay.
She didn't want, but her real name is Deborah.
Yeah.
She didn't want to name the baby that, but he said, if she doesn't come home with that name, don't come home at all.
Yeah.
And that was just the relationship. So she had to name the baby what he wanted, or it was like, don't bring yourself or the kid home.
Yeah. Her first name's Deborah and we call her Katie, but her first name had to be Deborah after his sister or she couldn't come home.
What do you think is the word, and maybe I'm just in interview mode because I just talked to the woman who owns Bio One. That's going to be airing on Friday and holy cow, was that interesting. But I think that you have such an interesting story and I don't know. Tell me about, I don't remember you talking about meeting Byron the brother.
It was in passing. It wasn't anything crazy.
So wait, was he at like a family barbecue?
Yeah. I mean, so my dad's one of 9 kids, 8 or 9, and everyone had a ton of kids there too. So like you have to, and we were all very poor. So like our family gatherings were all just hanging out at my grandma's house, like all like, 40 of us all the time. And it was just kind of, that was, in passing. And it was not,
did you know who he was? Were you nervous at all?
No, I knew that there was this, like that he was out there, but I had no idea.
How long had you known about Byron before you met him?
A couple of years.
When you found out, do you remember being shocked? Like what?
No, I don't remember being shocked because like nothing that my dad did shocked me. Like it was always like, in relationships, how people say, well, you don't know what happens behind closed doors or it's my fault and their fault and whatever. Like it was 100% his fault all the time. Like he was just a bad dude all the time. And my mom's awesome. And so when that came out, I was like, of course. Yeah, of course.
I just can't believe. And again, you have to live everybody walks a different path, but your mom is an incredibly forgiving human being.
Yeah, very much so.
Because 4 kids and he had kids with other women in between the kids. He was physically, mentally abusive. You've told me she wasn't allowed to have a job because he didn't. And then she got a job.
She was only allowed to work overnights, like stocking stuff and like working at like UPS or like stocking at Target or the grocery store, like odd jobs like that where she had to work overnight. And that's the only job she would be allowed to have, which is crazy because my mom's like incredibly intelligent. Like she's very smart. And when she left my dad, she ended up getting a job at Wells Fargo and worked her way up and is, you know, has been doing incredibly well for the last 20 plus years of that. 24 years. What?
So other than Byron,
Mhm.
do you know the names of the other siblings?
Yeah. Listen to this.
Oh my God. Is it Nevaeh,
No,
Celestial, something?
One of them kept his name. The one in Texas kept his last name for some reason. Like the mom gave, so there's another Young out there in Texas. So Robert Young. And then there's the one who's older than me that I have it's like no one knows anything because when he was however old, a teenager, he signed away rights. So no one knows anything about him.
Isn't there a weird name thing too that you were telling me about?
What?
Like there are two kids named Ryan or something bizarro like that. Did I know?
Oh, no, that's a different story.
What's the story of that?
Just that my name's pretty common, Ryan Young. And I played on a baseball team with 12 kids and 3 of us were named Ryan Young.
And 8 of them were your dad's kids.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you
right.
kept naming the kids Ryan.
Like
'cause
George
that's
Foreman.
wrong.
I don't know.
You're George Jr.
Yeah.
R.I.P. George Foreman.
I
Go
know.
ahead.
So sad. But no, yeah, so I didn't even think about that 7 and 7 with Macaulay Culkin. But yeah, no, I'm technically, I guess my dad had 7 kids.
Is there anything that your dad could do?
What do you mean?
Anything? Like say he reached out and said, I haven't done drugs. I haven't drank. I haven't. Is there anything that he could do where you would be open to speaking to him?
No, that's there's so many unforgivable things that happened that, I mean, truly unforgivable. And, you know, that's not very Christian-like of me, but no, there's just, I've seen too much and, you know, saw too much happen to my mom, who's, you know, I put her on some sort of angelic pedestal, you know,
Yeah.
so no.
But do you want to talk about your other siblings kind of sometimes talk to him?
One does.
Well, anyway, so that's the story of how Ryan has multiple siblings that no one has ever met before. So weird.
Yeah, but Macaulay Culkin, like I said, when I saw that and he was like, I haven't talked to my dad for 30 years and everyone was like blown away by it. I was like, about right. I mean, it's been 24, 5 years. I don't do the math on it, but it's, when I do, it's about that long. And I have absolutely no desire to.
So tell us about when your mom finally left that relationship. Did you tell her for years? Like
everyone was
leave?
very excited. So he would do this thing where he would line us all up. And I mean, I remember this happening like dozens of times when we were either lined up to either be hit or we were lined up to be told you need to choose who you're going with. And every time, like all of my siblings were like, you're crazy. Like we're staying with mom. Like there's no way we're doing anything with you. Bye. I remember I'm always taking off in a truck and whatnot. And so, yeah, we were always like, just be gone, be gone. So, and then one day I was in college and my mom called me and was like, hey, do you have any friends that want to help me move? Your dad's going to go to work and I got a U-Haul and I have an apartment and I need everyone to come load up stuff as fast as we possibly can when he goes to work. And I'm like, yep, we'll be down. Let's go. And so, yeah, so he left for work and she pulled up a U-Haul and we loaded up as much stuff as we possibly could and took it to a two-bedroom apartment, 600-700 foot 2-bedroom apartment for 4 kids and a mom who was just starting out at Wells Fargo, so hardly making any money.
But listen to how messed up this is. This part I do know.
What?
While you were loading the moving truck,
Yep.
His brother drove by, right?
Yeah. So one of my uncles, his brother, drove by and saw the U-Haul. And then there's no cell phones, I don't think, at that time. There might have been. But somehow he got a hold of him and was like, you know, Mindy, my mom is moving. Like they're hightailing out of here. And so we had got out of there. We were she found a place. I want to say it was like 1 mile, 2 miles away from this place where we were staying. And sorry, I'm just going, I haven't thought about this shit in so long. I'm trying to think.
Go for it.
So then we were loading it up and it was on the second floor, but it was also, where we were living wasn't the most safest of places. So it was like security doors and stuff like to get in. And so you couldn't get in unless you had the code. And then we were on the second floor. And I remember he pulled up, because they went around looking for apartments, like where
he was going to hunt her down.
Yeah, absolutely. Which, God, now there's multiple times where we've like hidden in cars from him. So like, I'm like having flashbacks to all that stuff. Yeah, he pulled up and was in his work truck with him and his uncle. And it was, this isn't the time, man. This is it. This is over. Like, you've had all your chances and,
And that's where you actually stepped up and said, I'm bigger than you now.
So back, pretty abusive. I remember a lot of different things, being thrown down, hit, punched, choked. And I'm a tall dude. I'm 6'3", 6'4", right? And my dad is not, he was like 5'10", I want to say. So yeah, progressively it was like, oh, this is not going to work for you to do this anymore. And went and told him, this is it. We're done. We're going to be here and we're going to be with mom. So we don't ever want to see from you, hear from you, anything else again. And that wasn't the last time I saw him. I've randomly ran into him at things like funerals.
Does he ever try to talk to you or did he after that?
Not really. I don't think,
he just knew the jig was up.
I think he finally just kind of was like, knew that, yeah, it caught up to him.
Did you have any kind of fear that your mom would fall back into the habit of going back, or was this time, how was this time different? A
bit, because 4 kids, single mom, she was making nothing because she wasn't allowed to have her job. Right. So she had an entry level position at a Wells Fargo corporate, which is not, bank teller, but the corporate office. So she's not making any money. So it was, and she could afford a 700 square foot apartment for all of us. And that was hard for her. Like, that was super hard for her. So I was worried about that. But no, never worried about like going back, because I think I would light her on fire if she went back.
Even though you hold her on a pedestal? Oh
yeah, no, you'd be like, she would never. But like even back then, I think we were all like, we all felt like we had escaped.
Do you feel like now as an adult, you look back and realize more how dangerous the situation was? Because
it was really dangerous. Like looking back, it was,
he could have just gone rogue, and a lot of people do when they're the abuser in a relationship is they'll just go rogue and kill everybody.
It was, like I said, it was very dangerous. Like I remember very vividly, like hiding in a car with like my mom taking off in the $200 car we had. I'm not kidding. Like we bought like cars for like $200 back then. Like that's just what it was. If it could drive, we took it. And I remember multiple times leaving the house, like everyone was scared because he was on some sort of drug rampage or whatever it was, and like just beating everybody. And we would be hiding in the car, like on a street around the house with the headlights off, tucked into a driveway, watching his car go past. Like it was dicey.
What's the one thing you always go back to?
What do you mean?
Like when you think of those memories, is there one where it was just like, this was so horrific and out of control, I'll never forget it?
Yeah, seeing him punch my mom when I was a little kid was real hard. I can go on and on. There's always ones that stand out. My mom tells the story, like we didn't have digital cameras, of course. So like his thing would be like, he would always go through, and we don't have any pictures of us as kids because he would always rip them up and throw them in our face. We were homeless in California, right? Like when we moved in California, he promised, when my mom only had 3 kids at this time, so she didn't have Drew yet. and he promised, hey, they're starting a business in California for painting, come out, do this, that, and the other. And we were literally homeless. He didn't have any place.
You guys all got out there and
there was like, nothing.
Psych.
Yeah. So, and not having food and living in a Motel 6 for a year, and my mom's away from everyone she knows in California with 3 kids and can't even go get mac and cheese, that stuff was hard.
Why do you think it is that some people who are raised in that environment take the same road and some people don't? Because, you hear all the time about people who are abusive and their father or mother was abusive to them. And it's like a trickle down effect. Yeah. Why do you think you never fell into that trap?
My mother and my grandparents on my mom's side.
Tell me how so.
Okay. Let's just say that my dad, he died, whatever. You have no idea of him. And you met my mother. Is she the softest, most tenderhearted person you've ever met?
Yeah,
right?
She is. Yeah.
She very much so. And then you met my grandparents before they passed away.
The best. So great.
Right. Married for 60 years, took care of each other, the whole rub, Mm-hmm. So that was something to look up to and go, oh, this over here is, I remember it always felt like stable, right? You've been to my grandparents' house, which is now my mom's house, weird to say. Right. And it's what, a 1,500 square foot house with 2 bedrooms.
Yeah.
Right. Which they raised 5 kids in and whatever. Growing up, that was a rich person's house to me. I was like, oh my God, they have their shit together. Their doors lock, their windows all work. They have air conditioning, nothing's broken. I remember my grandpa took me on a camping trip. And I remember he very, very vividly looking at his radio and it worked in his car. And I was just like, fucking, look at this. You can listen to the radio. How amazing is this? But I remember just thinking I put that on a pedestal and it was awesome. And trust me, it was great. But looking back on it, they were struggling. You know what I mean? But
it was a different kind of struggle.
It was a different kind of struggle. That was the struggle on my dad's side is just it's just hard. Everything's so hard all the time.
It seems to be self-imposed hard.
Yeah. I'd say that.
I know that you do have an uncle who reached out to us and I'd never met the guy, but he asked if we'd buy him a car.
one of my homeless uncles, one of them.
And he lives in a tent city in the woods.
He did. I don't know. I have no idea, but yeah, he hit me up on, this is the uncle that his bio in his Facebook feed is always looking for something to do. And the METH, meth, and something is capitalized. Always looking for something to do. And he hit me up and he was like, hey, you look like you're doing pretty well. Can I have a truck? I was like, I
know. And you know what? We were very early in our relationship and I'm like, well, do we need to get it? It's family. If it's your family and they need help.
Yeah.
And you were like, no, we're not buying anybody. But I think that, well, here's a question. What do you think your biggest hang up from all of this is? What's the worst? Well, what's a hang up that you have because you were raised by a man like this? But I'm also going to ask you on the flip side, what is the upside to having
hang up? What's a hang up?
Hang up meaning getting emotional when you see other dads or not learning how to tie a tie.
Well, yeah, I do get jealous. I told you we had friends where they're their dad was playing with the kids, right? So their grandparents, and I didn't like that, right? So
just seeing the activities,
I would say I got a pretty good case of fear of abandonment. You know what I mean? Maybe not abandonment, but just unfair abuse. You know what I mean? I really hate unfair shit. I don't like that at all. I like people being treated kindly. So I have a big, not a hang up, I guess, but I don't like that.
But I think that also good comes out of every situation. What's the good thing that came out of that? Is it having such a strong bond with your mom? Because being the oldest of four kids and going through all of that, I think she probably, I would imagine, looked at you as kind of a partner in crime. Like, we got to take care of each other, you know, rather than mother, son.
Yeah. I mean, she had me when she was 19. Right. So like, she's going through all this, and I'm the oldest and the guy. So like, I'd say, yeah, we have a really, really, I mean, we're really close. You know that. My mom and I.
Does it upset you that one of your siblings still contacts the dad?
I don't really care.
It doesn't bother you? You don't get angry? Like, how could you do that?
No, I don't. It's not my choice, you know.
Well, that's good that you don't harbor that. That's good.
Nope.
You know, I really did just have a really stupid BuzzFeed list where I was going to read about something. And then we started talking.
And then we started talking about Macaulay Culkin and how I'm too similar to Macaulay Culkin.
And I never put that together either until you just said that. But I did not know. And we were in the car the other day and Ryan's like, you know, I have some random siblings. And
well, because we were talking about it when she was here for spring break. And I was just like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you this, that, and the other. So,
Well, guys, I hope this wasn't a downer of an episode. I don't think it was, because I think that I am fascinated by people who are raised in the same way and they take completely different roads.
Sure.
And you could have had every right to be this angry, abusive asshole. And instead, you're very soft-hearted, as we have learned in this 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You have a soft heart. And so I think that I'm very happy you chose. I wouldn't be with you if you chose the other way. I'd be like, that guy's an asshole. Heck no.
But it's, I don't know. You like when you're going through it, like you feel like you have a secret, you know? But what's crazy is I was reading something. There are so many people with, what's the right word? Where you don't talk to your family, estranged, where you have estranged family members. Like, it's a prevalent thing. And it doesn't have to be a parent. It probably is, you know, who knows? But like, could be anybody's siblings, cousins, kids, whatever. But like, it's higher percentage than I ever thought it was.
Yeah.
It's just nuts. Because I always thought it was like a bad, awful secret.
But a lot of people have the secret.
A lot of people do.
I remember one time, and I'll end this episode by saying this. We were sitting in a Wendy's in Denver, and it was just the two of us, and we were coming back from something. And there was a guy, and there was a woman and a guy, and they were in a car in the parking lot, and we could see him out the window, and I'm just eating. And Ryan is like dead focused on this because the man was getting up in her face, screaming at her.
Yeah.
And Ryan said, I swear to God, if he touches her, I'm going to kick the shit out of him. And that entire time we could not leave the Wendy's because Ryan said, I need to make sure now I'm going to get emotional. But he said, I need to make sure that she is okay. And she leaves and he doesn't hurt her. And
yeah, because you don't want to interject in people's business, but like, yeah, if, you know, in that situation, it was the longest Wendy's trip ever. We're like, well, I guess we'll order again.
Like, well,
have a Frosty.
Ryan, you know, there's no ending to how much I could eat Wendy's. And so I was like, yeah, let's keep a good eye on the situation.
But you just had to make sure that she was okay.
That makes you a really good person. And I love you.
I love you.
You did so good. Hey, everybody. Sadie here, breaking in really quick. Just telling you about my friends at Garage Door Service and Sales. Locally owned and operated, family owned and operated, passed down from generation to generation. They've got an amazing rating if you look them up. They've got a great rating with the Better Business Bureau. They are here for the community because they've been in the community for so long. If you want something different with your garage door, don't listen. You can paint your entire house Or maybe just get a different garage door. It will change the entire look of your home, I promise you. And they have technology right now that just can't be beat. You can literally be anywhere in the world and just push a button and it will close your garage door and it will alert you. It will say you're all set. Your home is locked up. Or it'll say, hey, dummy, you forgot to close your garage door. You push a button on your phone, it closes it for you. You're taken care of. You don't even have to get out of bed. How amazing is that? We're in the future, people. Call my friends at Garage Door Service and Sales. Garage Door Service and Sales, a proud sponsor of the Sadie and Friends podcast.